No, close that. I'm live, so I'm not sitting YouTube while I'm live. We are at Abilene camping. I wanted to do this live because the last live I tried to do for the greatest free photography course on the internet, I forgot to plug in my microphone. So I had the live go out and there was no audio whatsoever. I hope you can hear and see this okay. The internet is not the best out here. So we're just going to wing it and see what we can do. We came out here and set up our tent. Flip it. There you go. Here we have the tent set up. We have these guy lines staked out, and to tie on these guy lines, we used the king of all knots. If you know what the king of all knots is, post it down below. You can see we've got some windows out here. I just want to give you a tour of the tent today. We do not have the windows unzipped because even in Texas, in the end of December, it gets cold. Today is going to be a beautiful 75 degrees, but last night it got down to about 40. So it's quite the temperature change. And you can see we've got a little gas can right there. We use that for our heater buddy. The heater buddy is what keeps the tent warm, because I'd like to get a wood stove for the tent, but we don't have one yet. We just bought this tent back in March. We set it up once at the house for practice, and then we went camping in it at Possum Kingdom State Park. We have a video on that, and we're just getting more used to it, adding more things to it as we learn and grow. The latest thing that we've added, you can see this starry floor that we have. These are also made by Stout, who makes the bell tent. The Stout bell tent and the interior exterior rugs. These are made from recycled bottles. Really nice. Each one is a half moon. It goes around the outside of the tent, so it's 16 feet. And then half moon, it goes around the other side of the tent to cover the entire floor. They are interior, exterior. However, I just want to use them for the tent. I don't want to drag them outside, because the idea for me is to keep the tub of the tent clean. Where they set us up here, and I love that I can stand up straight in the tent. Hurts my back to stay bent over. So I like a tent that I can stand up in. I've got plenty of elbow room. The tent site that they put us at, it said tent only. And I don't think they were expecting this tent, because there's really no completely flat spot to set up a tent of this size. We're sort of sliding down to this area. Fortunately, the tent stays dry. We haven't had any rain this time, but the last time we had a lot of rain. So we've got the heater buddy over here. I was talking to you about that. The last time we used the heater buddy, we used those little camping propane tanks, and they lasted about 3 or 3.5 hours on high. So it'd take at least 2 tanks per night, and you'd wake up freezing and realize you needed to change the tank. So I bought this attachment that goes to that propane outside, and that holds 20 pounds. So if 2 tanks is 2 pounds, 20 pounds, should last us 10 days, but I have the feeling that we're using a lot more gas this time than we were with the small tanks, just because we have it, and it's easier to warm up earlier and stay warm through the night. I kept it on high all night last night, and it was just a little bit chilly. And the reason why it gets a little bit chilly is because this is a big air mattress. You can see there, big queen size air mattress, and all of this air stays cold. Like it doesn't heat up well, and so when you're laying on the bed, the cold is coming up from underneath. So what we've done is we've set several blankets underneath it to shelter us and insulate us from the bed. And then we just used the top blanket. We got another extra one over there that we'll probably end up throwing on tonight. And we've got a couple of throw blankets that we might use. But it was comfortable. It wasn't, you know, sleeping at home in a forced air unit type of comfortable, but it was comfortable. We got our little table over here. We use this for Uno, as you can see. We can also boil water here. We've got this lantern that lights up the tent really well, and it will hang from that hook up there. But yesterday we happened to catch a sale on Christmas goodies, and these 4 lights were like $1. So I picked it up and I mounted it to the center pole, and they're surprisingly bright. They light up the tent just as well as that lantern does because we have power here at this campsite. This box over here is pretty much our pantry. It's got all of our food and snacks in it. This is our son Raymart's stuff over here. He is staying in the hammock. He did sleep here on the first night because we got in late and didn't want to set both up. And then over here is extra clothing, blankets, and things like that. That's the entire tent. And it's really amazingly comfortable. The reason why I wanted to get a Stout bell tent is because when we were going over to Iraq, we were staying in concrete building that was basically a parking garage, sleeping on the concrete, and it was horrible. They were supposed to build us a canvas tent like this. The other units had them, and we were supposed to get them. We're really looking forward to it. And the day that they were building our tent, one of the workers flicked a cigarette butt over onto our tent and burned it down. So we never got a canvas tent. And ever since then, I've always kind of wanted to have a canvas tent. And so I started looking at these Stout bell tents because it was the best online that I could find, and they had the highest ratings. And then when we came back to the States, I said, that's what I'm going for. And we ended up getting the tent last March, and we're super happy with it. And it has fit all of our needs. It's still a learning process, a system in process. Like I said, we just added the floors and we added those lights up the center pole. We could add solar so that we have a solar unit. You can see there, if I turn this back around, where the heater is a stove jack. So we could put a wood stove in here, and we could do all of our cooking on the wood stove, boil water on the wood stove. That would be another system, a system that we could purchase for this tent. We could get a rain fly that goes over the top. We have the awning. We didn't feel like we needed the awning this time because we didn't have the rain this trip, but the awning definitely came in handy last trip. We did a video on that trip, so if you want to go check that out. And I did a video on how to tie that knot, which is the king of all knots. So that's in my shorts if you want the shorts videos on YouTube. That sounded funny, I know it. So we're about to head out and enjoy the day. I hope this came through okay, and that oh, there's a camera right there. Hope that you enjoy our camping trip as much as we do, and God bless you. Next week I will definitely redo the live video on how to do the exposure triangle. That's what we were working on, and I submitted it, but I didn't have a microphone, so there's no audio on it. So we'll redo that, and we will continue the lessons weekly for on YouTube Live. To be able to post these lessons and build our community, we have to have 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do that. We're pushing for 1,000 so that we can build our community. Really help us out if you do that. All right. God bless.